All right, so I've been fired up all morning, and this is another reason to either roll your eyes, throw your hands up, or have your head explode. I didn't need any more reasons to believe that under Justin Trudeau, the consensus on Canada's immigration policy system and how we've grown our population and indeed strengthened this nation was broken. I didn't need any more evidence, but boy, is there a treasure trove of it today. And we're about to lay it all out for you. So for context, in 2023, there was an audit by the CBSA, the Canadian Border Security Agency, that revealed that from 2014 to 2019, nearly 46% of all the foreign nationals that were flagged with serious offenses, so people that were coming in and they had a criminal record. And by the way, those serious offenses, including war crimes, kind of a biggie, espionage, kind of important, terrorism, were still granted residency in Canada despite CBSA recommending against it. Nearly half of all the people that want to come here with serious offenses, and we don't know what those offenses are, but serious offenses include espionage, terrorism, and war crimes, were still let in. Okay, so that's from 2023. Here's Ron Chinzer, who was recently on, or just earlier on the Greg Brady Show. Ron Chinzer was a former police officer. He's a contributor here at the radio station, and he was also a candidate for the Conservatives in the last election. Here's him saying we need accountability.
There needs to be a direct answer to these questions to how did this happen? Why is this okay? What was the process? And who and where are these people? Again, a national security issue for us. And then we look back to the U.S. and, how many times do you see them saying Canada's a security threat? And what's Canada's response as from the media as well? Oh, no, everything's fine up here. We're not the problem. You're the problem. This is more evidence to say that there's this complete neglect for taking responsibility of all the problems that we've had over in our country and just pushing responsibility and saying, well, it's not our fault. Again, unacceptable.
If I've said it once, I've said it a billion times. We are a nation that with serious problems that we do not take seriously. We are unserious about the things that we should be very serious about. And if we don't take war crimes and espionage and terrorism seriously, if we don't defer to the Customs, Border and Security Agency when they say, don't let that dude in, where does the buck stop? How do we fix that? If you are somebody in a position of power within the government that looks to the CBSA and says, oh, no, they're warning us against letting that guy in, terrorism. No, that's cool. That's cool. We're going to let that guy in. We can't fix stupid. You cannot fix stupid. And that is stupid. Okay, so that was 2023. Now this. Okay, so in the Globe and Mail, it has been reported that nearly 20,000 people, foreigners with criminal convictions, so now they're here, they were granted rehabilitation in Canada over the past 11 years. And so to be eligible for that, that requires at least 5 years since the conviction or sentence completion. So 17,600 people who came here with criminal convictions had those criminal convictions just disappear into the ether. Doesn't matter. Now, what they were convicted for, we don't know. But could those things include terrorism, war crimes, violence against women, murder, capital offenses? I don't know. You don't know. Don't you think we should know? We're letting these people into our country. We're allowing them to come here. We're hoping that they will help build Canada into a better place. Do these sound like people who intend to build as part of a community? I don't know. That's the fundamental thing. We don't know because there's no accountability. Remember when Justin Trudeau promised transparency by default? Does this sound like transparency by default? The government doesn't disclose what types of crimes, serious offenses are decided by the Minister of Immigration. And so you wonder where this all went off the rails. So let's cast our regard back to a seminal debate during the 2015 election campaign that led to Justin Trudeau sweeping into power.
Why would we not revoke the citizenship of people convicted of terrorist offenses against this country? This was a bill put forward by a member of Parliament who is himself an immigrant, Devinder Shori. This is not the standards we expect. Immigrants, Canadians, all of us who are here expect that we would have a minimum bar, that people would not, people who come here would not be guilty of trying to plan terrorist attacks against this country.
A Canadian is a Canadian, and you devalue the citizenship of every Canadian in this place and in this country when you break down and make it conditional for anyone.
We all remember that, right? It was that was a moment that so many people felt their patriotism swell. Yes, a Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian. Meanwhile, our Prime Minister at the time, Stephen Harper, was explaining chapter and verse why this immigration policy was important. Now, think about the system that we're living in now. Think about the Thunderdome that we're living in now. Stephen Harper sounds like the adult in the room, doesn't he? And Justin Trudeau sounds like he's trying to be Prime Minister by slogan. A Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian. You know what? No. A Canadian with dual citizenship who was found guilty of terrorism is not as Canadian as I am. Sorry, you go back to where you came from. That's what I want now. Certainly what I wanted then. And look, the knock-on effects of this is pretty significant. The U.S. is deporting more people than ever before, right? And the U.S. Supreme Court had made a decision that allows deportations to third countries, which means Canada could become a destination for some of the people that are being removed from the U.S. We could be getting more of these people because of our permissive position on immigration and on allowing people in with criminal records. And so at 10 o'clock, we're going to be speaking with Chris Alexander. You might ask yourself, why would we be talking to Chris Alexander? Well, because he was immigration minister under Stephen Harper that launched the Strengthening Canadian Citizenship Act that Trudeau dismantled in 2015. I want to take a look at what things were supposed to be under this law and how things got so cockeyed under Justin Trudeau and the Liberals. And so, because frankly, look, our Prime Minister has a lot to undo from his predecessor and that government that messed a lot of stuff up. This should be top of the list because we are falling further behind from our allies who look at these things and think, this is a country run by children. This is a country that wants to live in a world of flowers, rainbows, and unicorns. And they don't take things seriously. And if they don't trust us to take our own domestic policies seriously, they're not going to invite us to the table when they discuss stuff that concerns their public safety, their borders, their security. We are going to be on the outside looking in as serious things are discussed by serious people. And our Prime Minister, I believe, takes a lot of things seriously. And I implore him to put this at the top of the list. Thanks so much for watching the show. Now, if you enjoyed what you saw, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode of The Ben Mulroney Show.